Welcome back to our masterclass of Dirk Bartler. Today I would like to show you the machine 275 and the application for it. One of the most famous applications on our 275 is the application of curved hemming. So to have a very nice sewing result, this is the best machine in the market you can get for it. I will start again with my theoretical presentation. So for the class 275, we are offering two subclasses. So the first subclass is the 140-34201. This machine stands for a differential foot top feed and a bottom feed. The combination of electropneumatic thread trimmer, foot lift and back tacking. The second class we are offering is the 275-142-34201. Again, the 5 stands for a differential foot top feed with bottom feed. And the 2 here stands for programmable fullness distribution with up to 8 programmable fullness values. So let's go to typical applications of these machines. One of the most famous applications here is hemming shirts, hemming dresses, skirts. So here we do have a special device on the machine where we use sewing equipment with a folding device. The device here is using air, and this air is helping blowing, folding the material and blowing and folding the little threads which coming out of the material to make sure all will be covered in the hemming. The configuration of such a machine, my favorite, would be the subclass 142-342 with this programmable fullness application. In case this is not necessary because you do not have so many different kind of materials, the other subclass of 275-140-342 would be also sufficient. So we do offer 2 different sewing equipments, the E28 you see here on the picture. So that means it is a split hammer where we fold and top stitch the hemming. So you get this sewing equipment with a folder in different folding margins. 5 or 6 millimeter is standard, but as a special manufacturing, the smallest value is 4.5 millimeter. Including or in combination with the sewing equipment, we are offering the electropneumatic device for activating one preset fullness value in case I go for this subclass without the programmable fullness. Nevertheless, we always need the folder N005, which is, as I mentioned, the split hammer. We can use this hammer in a complete closed manner during the whole process, or I can lift this split hammer a little bit over the thick areas of, for example, side seams to make sure that I can stitch over with any problem. Then, of course, we are offering a stand set. The specialty here on the stand set is that with this stand set, we are positioning the machine not horizontal in the machine, we are positioning the machine a little slanted in a 45-degree angle, because then I do have a better view on the sewing process. Let's see the function and the application on the machine. This is our product video, which you will find also in YouTube. This now is the 275-142-342, including the sewing equipment E28. So we are using this machine with this combination for straight and curved hemming. The operator is folding the first area manually and then switching in this split folder. The folder is blowing air and help folding the material while processing the application. Special advantage here is we are using this fullness control. I will show you in the next part of the video. So here we are showing swiveling in and out the split folder. So with the second pedal, I am swinging in the folder and we are blowing air against the material to have a nice curved and straight hemming operation. The fullness bars here can be switched by knee switch. I can pre-program and recall this presetted fullnesses by knee switch. So the operators call it by knee switch manually, so she is controlling when and where I do need which fullness. I do have the possibility to switch between different programs. I can pre-program for different materials, different fullness values. Here you see now a production video where the operator is using different fullness values in different areas of the seam depending on the material. The advantage of the different fullnesses here is we want to avoid any roping on the hemming. I will show you afterwards a bad example how it should not be. Here is another example. The machine is also excellent for curved or straight hemmings when you want to match the stripes absolute, exact and equal. So here the machine, due to the different fullness values, I can manage to have the stripes perfectly matching. So here we do have a machine subclass 140342. That means I do have only one additional fullness value and I call and recall this fullness value by push button. So it is a mechanically set fullness value and the operator works with only two fullness values. So if you have standard material, if you have always the same kind of material, this is no problem. You could work with one fullness value. If you change the material very often and you have critical materials to stitch, the version of the fullness control panel would be much easier. Okay, so this was our video of the curved hemming. And now I would like to show you one bad example of a curved hemming, because I am now the live example of a shirt hemming which it should not be. You see this slanted roping on my shirt. So on my blouse here, actually this hemming was done maybe and most probably on a normal standard machine with a normal folder. So if I do iron this, it will maybe stay for a short period flat, but as soon as I'm wearing it or washing it, it will come back this roping always. And these kind of ropings we would like to eliminate on our machine, and we are very positive with this control box we can do that. Of course, beside the curved hemming operations, we can do and we can offer these machine classes for also other difficult applications. Like, for example, if you want to have ruffling operations or flat seams on pile fabrics, like velvet, cord, or anything like this. Everybody of you knows, if we stitch just closing a seam, we always have the problem that the two layers are always displacing and moving while stitching, because the piles of the fabric, the hair, is getting into each other and they move the fabric at the edge. To avoid this, we have a very nice solution. And this I would like to show you here. So the machine class could be with or without fullness box, but important here is that we use a special swivelable guide. We use this special intermediate sheet to separate the piles of the fabric on the top and bottom, to make sure that we can stitch it nice flat and we separate there the piles, the hairs. So the operator can easily, with this intermediate sheet, can easily stitch this kind of fabrics without any problem. The third application, which would be a typical application on this machine, and here I would again suggest the control box on the machine for the fullness distribution, is closing side seam and shoulder seams and jackets. So shoulder seams and jackets, we always need fullness in the back part of the shoulder seam, because our shoulders, they are not straight, they are round. They have a little curve to the front part. So to get this curve also in the fabric, to get a nice, comfortable fitting and sit-on or fitting of the jacket, we do need fullness on the back part of the shoulder seam. So, and here we do have a perfect solution, because as you can see here on my drawing, we would start stitching as a flat seam. We would have maybe a little fullness in the area below the sleeve. So this is the area here where I normally need, for my comfort, for the movement, I need a little bit more fullness to have, a better comfort to wear the jacket. Plus the fullness in the back, to have a nice curved shoulder seam, again perfect sitting for the front panels. I do have here a nice production video which I would like to show you. So the operator actually using, in this case, a machine without control box, but she's using the fullness. She's switching on manually the fullness while stitching. So she starts flat, and in the main area of the shoulder she switches on the fullness. You can easily see here how much fullness she is putting into the shoulder seam. So as more fullness you put in this area, as more comfort and more comfortable sit is on the jacket available. Good. Okay, so that was my theoretical part of the presentation of the product, and now please follow me to the machine. So now I would like to show you our 275 in practice. So this is our sewing head or the sewing machine 275. The machine is equipped with a fullness distribution. The fullness distribution has the possibility of 8 different fullnesses. To program every fullness, I just have to select the fullness position, and with plus or minus I can change the fullness. So in combination with this, we do have here a system where I can control if my fullness values are working well. So that means if I push these kind of buttons, this should move here to another position, the position which I have programmed. That means this machine and the fullness distribution working perfect. To get a nice flat seam, I have to first set my normal stitch length of the bottom feet. So here I have preset it 1.5 millimeter stitch length for the bottom feet. So to receive now a flat seam, I have to find the right setting, So I would like to show you now how you should prepare your machine to stitch and to stitch and hem the first shirt in your production. Whenever you have new material, you should pre-cut the material one side straight and one side the curve you would need. Then you would start on the straight area, on the straight hemming, to see what is the correct setting to have a nice flat seam. So what do? 1.5 millimeter stitch length on the bottom feet, and I would start with 1.5 millimeter also for the differential top feet. And then I would start stitching and see whether with 1.5 on top and bottom I get a flat sewing result. I am folding my hemming. With the second pedal I am switching in my edge guide or my folder. So and then I would start stitching my hemming. So I want to have a nice flat sewing result. The air is blowing into the folder, folding my material, folding the material, plus it is blowing these kind of threads into the folding of my hemming to avoid afterwards an additional work of cutting the threads. So I'm stitching now, and I can see if I get a nice flat sewing result. This area should be nice flat. I can see behind the machine whether it's working fine or not. In the area of the side seam, I am folding the material and leave it through the folder. So as soon as I have reached and overstitched this area, I can see and check whether my seam is flat or not. So you can see here there is no roping. The side seam here is exactly matching with the side seam on my overlock seam here. So that means 1.5 millimeter stitch length on the top will give me a flat sewing result. I will stitch the rest. I can also stitch a little faster to see if something is changing. By stitching a little faster, I stitch the second area of my side seam, fold it a little bit, and see how the machine is reacting here. So I'm proving after stitching also this area. It is perfectly matching with my side seam. So the setting for a straight hemming is done here. So in case you will find a sewing result where the side seam is not perfectly matching, so it's maybe a little slanted here. That means it could be that the fullness on my top, on my differential feet is too much or too less. So I have to play around here with plus and minus to get a better result. Or if I have problems to stitch over this thick area, I can adjust it here. So here I do have two adjustments. This screw is the adjustment for the main foot pressure of my foot. The second screw here is the pressure of my differential foot. So that means whenever I have a problem here, and if it is not perfectly straight with the hemming, I have two possibilities to prove it. Is the pressure of the foot maybe too high? And is the differential feet adjustment correct? So now I would like to show you how you could set a curved hemming. Curved hemming has actually 4 different areas. A straight area, then I always call it I'm running up the hill, so I need at least one different setting for the top feet here. And then I'm running down the hill. So that means in this area, in general, I prefer to have one for the strong curve. And as soon as the curve is getting less, I prefer to have another value to have less support from the differential feet. And then we start again, straight, running up the hill and running down the hill. So now I would like to show you how I would adjust it. So I'm starting with my hemming in the beginning. I'm using now here my first value of the fullness. I'm pushing in my folder with the second pedal. And I'm stitching straight as long as I feel in my fingers that here I do still have enough material. So you can see it, as long as the material is folding nicely around here, everything still is fine. So, and now you can see it's getting shorter. I have to run up the hill. Means I have to reduce the stitch length of my differential feet. So I would program the next one, the next fullness, a little bit less of the first value. The first one was 1.5. Now I change to the next value and I would try it now with 1.2 millimeter stitch length. So I feel that it is running perfectly and now the material is nicely turning again. I am pre-folding my side seam. And I stitch exactly till the side seam. So, and then I do need the next value of the fabric. I choose number 3 And here definitely I would need more. 1.5, we remember that was flat, 1.6 will not be enough. So I will increase it maybe to 1.8. So 1.8 value I would use here now, and I feel that the material is nicely turning round. And now I see here I have a smaller curve. So here I would need my fourth value. I would go here and I would, instead of 1.8, I would maybe use 1.6. So the material is nicely running, turning around. And as soon as you reach again the straight area, you will start again from the first value, which is for straight stitching. I will switch with knee switch now to 1 and do the same thing again. So again, here the part is getting shorter. I will switch to the next value, a little less than 1.5 to 1.2 here. So I'm pre-folding the side seam. In case you have thicker side seams, you could also switch on and off the folder and stitch over without the folder. This is the advantage of the split folder. So we reached again the side seam. I switched to number 3, a little bit more fullness to run down the hill. So, and finish the rest with 1.6. So, if I do see and prove my result now, I do have no roping here. The seams are matching perfect. So, now I would like to show you another material where we have stripe and check material. If you have stripe and check material, it might be that you want to have the stripes and checks matched perfectly. So in this case, we do have the possibility here to match it by setting the right fullness. So I will choose now the same setting with from the other fabric, pre-folding my hemming. So, and then I prove on the straight side again whether I can get a perfect flat hemming here. So, material on top of the blowing tube, and then we start stitching. So, prove it if the hemming is done. So now I can see here something very important. As you can see here, my stripes are not 100% matching perfectly. So actually the top feet is a bit too strong pulling my material. You can see it here on my stripes. So what I should do is, I should change from 1.5 now to maybe 1.4 or 1.3. This we have to test. Let's try with 1.3. And prove again the next part. If it's getting better. Okay, I will check it here in the new part. So here you can see now, with 1.3, it seems better than the 1.5. I will stitch a little bit more to see whether a longer distance will give me the same result. So that looks really good, I would say. So that means 1.3, I can stitch a nice straight hemming here with this material. This is the area I said, in case you face a problem with the thickness of side seams, you just fold it manually, stitch over and swing in the edge guide again, the folder. I'm controlling again, so the stripes are matching perfectly. Good, now coming to the curved hemming. So we know straight is 1.3. So it might be again that we have to have a second value to have a little less fullness for the heel up. So that means I am starting again. Important is if I pre-fold it, the stripes should match, of course, otherwise the result is not the correct one. So here I am swinging in my folder, stitching with 1.3 fullness. I still feel that the fullness is good here. So, but now I feel it's getting too short. So I cannot fold enough material around. That means the next value I switch here would be, I would test it with 1.1. So till the side seam again, and now running down the hill I need a higher value. 1.8, it will be most probably too much. I will go down to 1.6 and try it. So this value seems good till here. And now I have the feeling that I could go back to the straight hemming. So what I would do is I am ignoring the fourth value and I would jump back actually on this material to number 1. To make this automatically, I can activate or deactivate. This kind of fullness is very simple. You hold this and activate and deactivate the fullnesses. The red lamp is on, that means I have deactivated. If I use now my knee switch, the machine will only do 1, 2, 3 value and ignore 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 because as you can see here the light is on. These are all deactivated. In case I would have an application where I would need the fullness 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, I easily switch on here and I could do applications like a shoulder seam where I would use a different sequence of the fullnesses. But here we will continue now with number 1. Again, it's getting too short. I switch to the second fullness value. till the side seam. And as soon as I leave the side seam, I switch to the higher value. Now it's getting stuck a little bit, okay. So I'm stitching with the higher value till I feel that I have to go back to the next value. Finishing the rest with the flat stitching, and this is it. So if I see now there is no roping on my hemming at all, I have a nice flat hemming. I have also here in this area a super nice flat hemming. So with this kind of system you can create different programs. For every single material its own program. To create a program, you start with this one, you push F on off and this one, and then the graphic will change here. PR program mode and program number 1, 2, 3 and so on. So you could do one program for this material, next program for the next material. So it is saved and you do not have to recall and reprogram always again. Okay, this was our masterclass of class 275. I hope you liked it. I hope we could help you to solve your problems in the curved hemming with the roping. We would be very happy to meet you on our next masterclass. Please visit our homepage, contact us via email or any other channels. Thank you very much.